God bless everybody today. It is December 29th of 2022. This is a Daniel 8 update. I believe we are within days of seeing a land invasion of Syria through Turkey. Turkey and Syria and Russia are all holding surprise talks at this very moment. And when this meeting ends, I believe Turkey will somehow either pressure Syria and somewhat Russia to allow Turkey to do a land invasion into Syria. So Assad is going to have to give a green light, as well as Russia here, for basically Turkey to do this. Or Turkey's just going to take it on their own and say, look, I'm going to threaten both these nations and say, look, I don't care what you think. They're basically saying, look, the Kurds are a terrorist group and you need to get out of our way. Russia, you're up in Ukraine. You're going to be dealing with NATO and all that. You don't have the ability to deal with this down here. And Assad, you need to get out of the way because we need to deal with this threat to our southern border on Turkey. So I think that's how this is going to happen. There is some interesting timing going on at this moment. So now that Netanyahu is the new prime minister again, he's set up his government. This has taken a few months to do, but he's swearing in his government on Thursday, which is January the 2nd, and I'd be talking about this window that I'm concerned about between January 3rd, when I think there could be a land invasion of Turkey based on Daniel 10. I've gone over some of this. Now, first of all, I don't know if anything's really going to happen. I'm just saying based on what I've shown you in the paradigm and the timelines that this could happen. I know timelines can get a little messy, so I don't want to put a lot of stock in this. I'm just showing you as an analyst what I'm seeing here, and we're having all these correlations of events happening to where Turkey is going to invade. He's ready, poised, and going to invade. And so we need to understand that he's under a timeline with the presidential election in June of 23, so Erdogan has to do something here for long. He's got to shore up his base. Not only that, but he's got a collapsing lira. He's got about 85% inflation. So I believe he's getting ready to go to a war economy. We just had a bunch of protests in France from this Kurdish, three Kurdish individuals were killed through an attack. This has raised all kinds of concerns in France. This leads to the concerns also in Iran from the lady or woman that was killed for not wearing her headdress properly, and that's caused all kinds of problems in Iran. So Turkey now is up here talking to Russia, and what that's doing is now the defense ministers are having a meeting right now, and the foreign ministers are going to have a meeting later. So I'm thinking that Turkey is going to pressure Russia because they're in the Ukrainian thing, and Assad is in just a bad place that they're going to have to do something here, and Turkey's going to pressure both these nations to allow him to invade to offset this Kurdish problem he's having. And so if you go into the map and you look at how Daniel 8 works, once Erdogan unleashes this ground effect, and we just had an earthquake over here too, so there's a lot going on here right now. He's going to unleash this ground effect pretty much across this whole northern front, and that's going to drive the Kurds down towards Baghdad, okay? The prophecy says when this collapses, remember this is herbal, when this regional capital falls and this collapses, the Kurds get down into this area, and they either have to attack Iran or they have to align. And that's what I've been talking about, this 42-day window, 21 days prior to the 24th of January and 21 days after, because there's an indication in Daniel 10, I've talked about this many times, that on the 24th day of the first month, Daniel has a vision, and he's down here on the Tigris River, and he's seeing this happening, and he's distraught for 3 weeks, and so he's trying to he knows this is happening. He knows the prophecies, so he knows that this attack's coming, and this is during the time of Cyrus. Well, this is going to happen in the future, too, in the near future. This is going to collapse down. The Kurds are going to have to come down here, and they're going to have to align. And we're going to see a massive refugee exodus from Iraq and Syria over across the Iranian border. We've talked about how the ex-Ayatollah came out and said how they're going to have to deal with these protesters and how they're going to have to come online, or their regime's going to end in Iran. And so we really need to watch this. But I think the thing that we really need to watch is whether Turkey will get the permission to do this, and how that will affect their, once their land invasion occurs, how that's going to affect NATO, and because they're a member of that. And also, you get into the Black Sea, and we start talking about reforming that Ottoman Empire. Now, Turkey is also threatening Greece, and so there's a lot going on here, okay? Part of that Ottoman footprint is Greece. And remember, the Romans, back in history, moved from here to Constantinople, Turkey. So this is also part of that World War I footprint of the Ottoman Empire. So this all radiates around the Ottoman Empire. And then I just showed you a video the other day of the Interior Minister of Turkey said that Erdogan was the new president of the Middle East. And so if you look at that footprint, it's Greece, Turkey, Iran, Turkestan, you got Azerbaijan and Armenia up here, you got Afghanistan, Iraq and Syria. They're going to come down into Saudi Arabia, but that's going to be a conflict pretty much constantly. You got Egypt over here, but also Turkey deals with some groups in Oman and Yemen, so they're going to probably be putting pressure on Saudi Arabia. And then once you get down in Africa, once you get past the destruction of Iran, and Turkey drives down into Egypt, as the prophecy states, and then comes back into Israel, these nations down here in Africa are also going to be an effective part of these 10 nations that are going to end up in Israel. So just realize this is coming, and I believe that as we start to see this land invasion occur, that this is going to be a real center point to where we're going to start to see this breakdown quickly over here in the Middle East. And so now I believe that when Turkey, because the prophecy indicates that this is a 21-day war, and we can go look at that real quick. So there's a few verses here that I bring you to that I think are extremely important. One is the first month of the 24th day. Daniel is standing down by the Tigris River, which is down in that area around Baghdad and Shush, Iran. And so he's seeing this happen. Okay? As you move into the prophecy, he sees that the Prince of Persia is being attacked for 21 days. So that's at 21 days. And so if you go to the 24th day of that month, first day of the month, in this verse here, you take that back 21 days, that would be the 3rd of January. But if you take that forward 21 days, that would take you to February 14th of 23. And so that's Valentine's Day, by the way. So that's where I get that. And this is just speculation, but based on scripture. So just realize that I'm trying to figure out if there's actually an event happening based on everything that's going on out here. He says that he withstands him for 21 days, and then Michael comes against him. Now, realize that the reason I bring this forward is that Daniel is in mourning for 3 weeks prior to the vision, or it's happening during the vision, or the attack's happening and he's struggling with this attack as he's watching it happen on the ground, because Daniel is a high minister within this government organization within Iran. Even though he's a Jew, he's been elevated, and so he's seeing this happening, and he knows this is coming. And so when you get down into 20, and it literally says that Daniel will be sent against Persia, and that's what I mean. Archangel Michael is going to be sent down upon him. This country will not stand, and it will fall quickly. And then guess what? Turkey is going to be the main dude. Okay, and so we need to look at this. Okay, Persia's going to fall. Michael's going to be a main contributor to this attack, and Greece is going to be part of this. And that's not Greece, this is Turkey, because remember we just talked about it. The Roman Empire was moved to Constantinople, Turkey, but yet part of the Ottoman Empire is in the Grecian footprint, that Ottoman footprint. So Greece is in that footprint. And so we need to look at that. But Michael is going to be sent down upon this, and that's why I keep telling you, if you go to that map and you zoom in on this and you watch this thing collapse, okay, if Assad gives him the ability, or if he just takes the ability and says, look, I don't care, Assad, you're not a factor, and I'll take you out if you don't agree with me here. So Turkey's going to threaten Assad. Russia's not in position, so Turkey could just say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to leave NATO. I don't really care. I have an ideology, and that's to rebuild the Ottoman footprint, and so I'm going to just do this regardless of who cares. But I think Assad may open the door for him. If Russia gives him the airspace rights, green lights him, then this invasion's on, and this is going to happen quickly. And if you look at how this could happen, I talked about this a little bit. Okay. Now let's pull out a little bit here so you can see this a little better. So Turkey's in an extremely good position to destroy Iran right now. If Turkey comes down with an invasion of Syria and Iraq, they own this whole border along here. Plus they're pushing the Kurds down into this area here, okay? Now, could Turkey have something down here in the water? Possibly. They own Azerbaijan, and they're pressuring Armenia up here. But if you go to Azerbaijan to Tehran, this is a fairly quick process here. Israel could be part of this and could correlate with Turkey, and then they could send their Air Force over here and attack Tehran on multiple levels as Turkey's launching drones against them. Afghanistan over here, you've got the Taliban, so they could come in on this side. And then Turkestan also is part of this because Turkey sort of controls all this. And so Iran's in an extremely hostile position with Turkey right now. And I don't believe that once Turkey gets this green light and this starts to collapse, that this is going to force these Kurds to do something. They're in a rock and a hard place here. They're between Turkey and Iran. They have nowhere to go. Can't go this way. Turkey's blocking off their potential to get to Europe. And so these people are going to start moving across. You're going to see this mass refugee exodus out of this area as this collapses. The Kurds are going to have to do something. And I think what's going to happen here is you're going to see Turkey pressure this so fast, so quick, that they're going to have to align with Iran, because Iran and the Kurds are going to both be threatened by this movement from Turkey. And so they'll align, but it won't matter, because the prophecy says that Greece, or Turkey in this case, smashes them both. And then right after that, Turkey's going to realize that he has the ability to rebuild this Ottoman nightmare, and he's going to head to Egypt and into Israel before this is done. Now, Turkey also is working with Russia in this grain corridor up here. And so there's just a lot happening. And so we need to be extremely aware of what's going on here and how this could affect us within the next few weeks, within the next few months at the latest. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think we're within possibly less than a week of a potential land invasion. And when he unleashes this Turkish army, military, he has the ability, because he is the second largest army in NATO right now, and so he's not a lightweight. And if he actually gets some help from Israel down here, Air Force or otherwise, missiles, different things like that, to where, because we have this alignment now. So this actually leads us into a second prophecy. So you have two prophecies that are correlating at the same time, probably more, but I'm going to give you the second one that I know of. It's Isaiah chapters 28 to chapters 38. And what this says is, Isaiah says something extremely important here, that Turkey and Egypt would align with Israel to destroy the Assyrian or Iran. But then Isaiah says, look, you shouldn't have aligned with these people, Israel, these two nations, Turkey and Egypt. You should have relied on God to protect you, and you didn't do that. And so God is going to send the Babylonian against you after Iran falls. And so the Babylonian in this case, if you looked at my paradigms and all the things that I've talked about, is Turkey and Erdogan at this time. And so if you look at that, that leads us into the second prophecy of Isaiah. And Isaiah clearly says that Turkey will come over, attack the Assyrian, once this alignment of Egypt, Israel, and Turkey occurs. But that's going to end up bad for both Egypt and Israel, because what happens? Turkey goes down into Egypt and then back into Israel with an attack within the next year, as my paradigm shows, I believe. And so there's a number of prophecies that are actually happening right now, and we're going to see all this play out fairly quickly. So you guys need to get ready. You need to understand what's happening out here. You need to understand the correlations and how this is lining up. Now, I'm about the only guy out here talking about Daniel 8. You know, I was listening to some guy the other day, and I won't name him, but it's really weird. They know that there's a war before Ezekiel 38 and 39, but they can't figure out what it is. I keep looking at them going, well, all you have to do, it's really amazing that we all talk about Jeremiah and Ezekiel and all this stuff, but you never really put Daniel in the equation. And if you put Daniel 8 in the equation and realize that if you go into Daniel 8, he clearly says it's a latter day thing, that it probably looks like it happened in the past, but it's going to happen in the future, that you would get the next attack and where it's coming from. And that I've been talking about this on video for over 5 years, that this is going to happen. Everybody's probably going, well, when is it going to happen? It's going to happen soon, and it's going to happen within potentially weeks. So 23 is going to be a really interesting year. If you have not got your oil in your lamp, you need to prep and you need to get ready, because things are going to get ugly in 23 between food prices, fuel prices, all this stuff, and it's not going away. He clearly tells you that in the third seal, that hyperinflation is not going away. So you need to figure this out. God bless everybody. Find the open door. Find Jesus. Do what you need to get your people in a good place, your family in a good place, get you in a good place, not only mentally, physically, and spiritually, because this will matter as we move forward.